A soul walks the earth in search of peace, its light quiet, its essence untouched, soft like silence, steadfast like stone. And yet, this same soul is caught in a love that wounds like a blade, bound by ties that harden into chains. Why? Why does one who gives with open hands receive sorrow in return? Why do gentle hearts find themselves entwined with cruelty, the kind with the cold, the calm with the furious, the faithful with betrayal? It is a question that drifts through time. Wanderers whisper it to the wind. Even monks, still in their stone temples, cannot help but blink when love, once sacred, becomes a war-torn field. The answer? It does not lie in what one did in this life. It sinks deeper, across many lifetimes. It forms not from accident, but from karma, the invisible thread spun long before this breath was taken. One doesn't marry the wrong person. One marries the karmic mirror, a reflection summoned by the weight of debts and the pull of unseen lessons. Good people often marry wrong partners, not because they deserve pain, but because their souls seek resolution, not comfort. Karma does not reward, it reveals. A Zen teaching says, when the fruit ripens, it falls. This means nothing happens without cause. Goodness in one life does not guarantee comfort in another. Karma works not to reward or punish, but to reveal. A good person's marriage to a wrong partner may feel unjust, but it often acts as the final unfolding of unresolved karmic strands. The heart may be kind, but the soul carries unseen weights. One's current goodness might even attract wrong partners because the soul silently says, I am strong enough to dissolve this old pain now. So let us now step into a story, one that walks the path of stillness and storm, of love lost and insight gained. Let each part pull you in. Let the mirror reflect something within your own life. The thread was spun before you could speak. The first meeting, a familiar stranger. She walked into the hall with no intention of looking for love. He stood against the wall with a calm face and curious eyes. A look passed between them, not long, not dramatic, but something inside both paused. The kind of pause that says, I know you, not from this moment, not from this room, but from something older than memory. They spoke little, yet felt deeply connected, as if the soul remembered what the mind could not explain. She felt peace near him, he felt clarity beside her, and so without much planning, they began walking together. But peace would not last. Recognition is not compatibility. In Buddhist understanding, recognition does not mean destiny. It often means karma. When two people feel an immediate connection, it may come not from present compatibility, but from past life resonance. A karmic bond can feel deep, intense, even spiritual, but that feeling arises because something unfinished demands resolution. Kind souls attract karmic matches, not to suffer, but to finally close old wounds. These marriages feel like love, but often reveal past debts, emotional burdens, or spiritual contracts. The cracks beneath calm, days became weeks, weeks into seasons. At first their laughter echoed like wine through open windows. She spoke of books, he listened. He spoke of dreams. She believed. But slowly, her voice became smaller. His attention wandered. Fights started as whispers, then rose into storms. She stayed not because she was weak, but because she felt responsible. If I give more love, he will change. He pulled away not always with cruelty, but with emotional distance, with silence that stung deeper than any words. He stopped seeing her, yet she kept trying to become more visible. Letting go is the final release of the karmic bond. After separation, the real work begins, not externally, but within. To truly release karma, one must not just walk away from the person, but from the need for closure, from resentment, from the identity that grew around the wound. Forgiveness becomes the ultimate offering, not for their peace, but for your freedom. Letting go means, I no longer wait for an apology, I no longer need to be understood, I no longer bind my worth to their behavior. That moment becomes liberation. The karmic loop dissolves, the cycle ends. The thread breaks not with anger, but with emptiness, full of peace. Karma ends, dharma begins. Once the karmic lesson completes, life offers dharma, the path of soul expression, not soul correction. Karma pulls you into the past. Dharma calls you into purpose. Now that the wrong marriage has ended, the good soul stands not in pieces, but in presence. Now love feels different. It is no longer fire burning through bonds. It is space, patience, sacred companionship. Dharma brings partnerships that reflect wholeness, not wounds. Zen whispers, before you sought love, now you live it.
You did not marry the wrong person. You married the right mirror. Looking back, the pain remains real, but its meaning becomes clear. The so-called wrong partner was never random. That soul entered your life not to destroy you, but to awaken you. You see now. They came carrying your forgotten burdens, wearing the face of your unconscious wounds, and you, in your kindness, tried to love them, not realizing you were attempting to love parts of yourself you had abandoned. So no, you did not marry wrong, you married karma, and karma, once understood, becomes the clearest mirror, the one that reveals your strength, your patterns, your voice. You walked through fire, and came out not just alive, but luminous. After karmic love comes soulful peace. The world teaches people to fear loneliness, but in Zen, solitude is sacred. After a karmic marriage, the soul often enters a period of deep aloneness, not as punishment, but as preparation. That silence becomes the womb of rebirth, not just emotionally, but spiritually. Now love is no longer sought, it is shared, not needed. And if another enters your path again, they meet you not from lack, but from fullness. Not as a rescuer, but as a reflection of your peaceful presence. That is love without karma. That is soul meeting soul, free, unbound, and conscious. May your suffering not be in vain. If your heart broke from loving wrongly, let this truth remain. The good soul is never punished. It is refined. Every tear became a teacher. Every silence became a scripture. Every wound became a doorway. And through it all, you walked with quiet strength. So next time you ask, why did I marry wrong? Let your soul respond, because I was ready to become right with myself. Let karma unfold in its own time. Let love return when the moment is right. Until then, rest in your own stillness, a stillness that gently attracts the one who brings not lessons, but peace. Thank you for watching. If this video brought you calm or inspiration, don't forget to subscribe for more soulful content. Click the subscribe button below, and tap the notification bell, so you're always in tune with our latest posts. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below, and share what you'd like to see next. Until next time, stay grounded, and stay golden.
The next connection. Years passed. Another meeting. Another stranger with curious eyes. But this time, something had changed. She no longer sought love. She no longer needed peace from someone else. And in that space of non-attachment, a new person arrived. Not intense, not dramatic, just steady, respectful, aware. This time, love felt like presence, not pressure. Once karma ends, dharma begins. Karma binds. Dharma liberates. Once karmic debts close, life begins anew. Not from repetition, but from creation. A good person who marries wrong does not suffer without meaning. The pain clears the path. The soul matures when karma dissolves. Love becomes different. It comes without urgency, without fear. It no longer reflects wounds. It reflects wholeness. Zen says, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. The tasks remain the same, but the heart is no longer seeking. It is simply being. The gift hidden in the wrong person. The one who hurts you might be the one who frees you. The wrong partner might carry the medicine of awakening. The heart that breaks might be the doorway to your deeper self. So if you, the good soul, married wrong, do not curse fate. Do not regret the path. That story wrote itself long before you were born. What matters is not the pain but the wisdom it uncovered. Let the past close with silence. Let the future unfold without fear. For matters is not the pain, but the wisdom it uncovered. Let the past close with silence. Let the future unfold without fear. Now you carry not wounds but wings, the wisdom behind the wound. Goodness does not exempt one from karma, it illuminates it. Kind souls often misunderstand their pain. They ask, why must I suffer when my heart only means well? But pain is not punishment, it is purification. Zen reflects, rain falls on both the holy and the wicked. Goodness does not cancel karma, it only makes one more aware of it. The sensitive feel the sting of suffering, not because they deserve it, but because they are awake enough to recognize it. The good often marry the wrong, not as a failure of destiny, but as a final call to transform old bindings into liberation. Goodness attracts karma, not as cruelty, but as completion. A wrong marriage is still a sacred teacher. In the world of form, marriage is often seen as a destination, but to the awakened, it is a temple of reflection. A karmic partner is a mirror, not a companion forever, but a messenger of change. Zen teaches, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Sometimes the teacher wears the face of love, but teaches through pain. The wrong partner reveals where the soul clings, where the heart overextends, where the self betrays itself for another. This is sacred, not because it brings joy, but because it brings truth. And truth, once seen, breaks all illusions. The lesson was never about them, it was always about you. The ego wants to make stories about betrayal, cruelty, fault, but the soul watches with silence and says, this too was meant to reveal your blind spot. Buddhism shows that liberation does not come from changing the other, it comes from seeing clearly. The wrong person exposes the hidden wounds, the need for approval, the addiction to fixing, the fear of abandonment. These are not flaws, they are remnants of the self, still seeking. The The wrong marriage becomes the mirror that helps dissolve these patterns. And once dissolved, the heart finally meets itself, whole and quiet. Pain is not opposite of love. It is the catalyst of real love. A wound speaks louder than pleasure. When love wounds you, it does not always mean it failed. It often means it has completed its deeper purpose. True love begins when false love ends. False love says, "Let me suffer, so you are happy." True love says, "Let me be whole, so I can meet you without need." The wrong partner teaches this, not through sweetness, but through suffering. And for the one who learns, the gift is greater than the pain, the birth of inner freedom. Walking away is a spiritual act, not a defeat. Many good people feel guilt when they finally leave. The kind heart equates endurance with virtue. But Zen teaches, endurance without awareness becomes self-abuse. Walking away, when done with stillness, is not escape, it is evolution. Silence after chaos, stillness after struggle, leaving without anger. These are signs the karmic lesson has ended. The soul no longer needs to engage. It has seen what needed seeing. The debt once unconscious has now been paid in awareness. Zen says, the bird leaves the cage, not because it hates the cage, but because it remembers the sky. The good tried to fix what must be released. Kind people often carry the belief that enough love can fix another. In Zen, this is called attachment disguised as compassion. One does not heal another by suffering for them. One helps when asked, not by losing oneself. But karma often brings two people together, so that one may learn to stop giving beyond balance, and the other may learn to receive or face their own chaos. In these roles, pain becomes the teacher. When the good marry the wrong, it teaches boundaries, detachment, and the sacred art of walking away without hatred. The night of shattering. One night, the silence between them broke into shouting, words thrown like stones, eyes filled with exhaustion, not passion. He accused, she cried. He left the room. She stayed curled on the floor, breath shallow, and in that silence, something shifted, not in him, but in her. A voice, not external but internal, whispered, "You were never here to fix him, you were here to remember yourself." Pain awakens what peace sometimes cannot. In Buddhist teaching, the lotus blooms from mud. The most painful moments often trigger the deepest awakenings. The wrong marriage for a good soul acts like a bell, shaking the person awake from illusions. Many do not discover their worth in peaceful partnerships. They find it when their goodness is exploited, and they realize they must protect their inner temple. Zen teaches, do not blame the thorn for the wound. Understand why the hand reached without awareness. The wrong partner becomes the mirror that forces the kind one to turn inward and discover strength, not sorrow. The silent leaving. She did not shout, she did not demand apologies. One morning, she simply rose, packed her things, and walked out. No note, no last word, no explanation, just silence. It was not revenge, it was revelation. She realized the relationship had completed its karmic role. He texted. She did not reply. He called. She did not answer. Not from hatred, but from awakening. The story had ended. Dragging it longer would not bring healing. The soul leaves when the lesson ends. Karma does not bind forever. Once a lesson is complete, the soul withdraws naturally. Clinging becomes unnecessary. Good people who marry wrong often believe they failed, but in truth, they succeeded by learning what was meant to be learned. Compassion without attachment. Love without self-loss. Forgiveness without reunion. Zen says, when you finish drinking the tea, do not carry the cup. To stay after awakening only invites more suffering. Silence becomes sacred. Departure becomes healing. The stillness that follows, alone. Now she did not jump into another relationship. She walked among trees, sat with the wind, and watched the moon in stillness. She began remembering who she was before the marriage. But even more, she found who she had become because of it. She no longer wanted someone to complete her. She became whole by releasing the one who once reflected her brokenness. Healing is remembering, not repairing. Buddhist philosophy teaches that the soul carries everything: joy, pain, wisdom, trauma. Healing is not about erasing wounds, but about integrating them. A good person who leaves a wrong marriage becomes wiser, stronger, quieter. The karmic bond once felt like prison. Now it becomes the fire that forged their spiritual steel. Not all love stories end in marriage. Some end in transformation. That is the real purpose.